All right, welcome back to another Thursday training, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. We do these trainings every Thursday, and today's topic is financing, right? More related to the mortgage side of things. What do we need to know as real estate agents on the mortgage side? Why is it important for us to know anything about mortgage when we have lender partners that can take care of all that for us? We do have this training today as a segue to a couple of interviews that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks. So stay tuned, pay attention to that email invite. We have a mortgage broker coming up next week, and we're looking for the next interview and maybe the 2 weeks after that to get us a little bit more knowledge on a couple of things that we're going to touch on today. So, financing, mortgage, right? As an agent, what do you need to know about loans? Do you even need to know anything about loans? How is the current market affecting buyers, sellers? What do you need to know in order to get better at customer service, get better rapport with your buyers and sellers? And what do you need to know in order to get more business? Because at the end of the day, that's what we want as being in this business, right? We need to pay our bills, we need to pay our mortgage, we need to pay our kids' schools, we need to take them pay for gas. It is a business that you need to maintain. So the way your business keeps growing is by getting more clients, more people that you can work with. So let me, I forgot to do present. Thanks for the reminder. So why is it important? Why is financing important? So there's a few things, right? We know that 80% of transactions happening here in the US are going through some sort of financing option, some sort of mortgage. So what do we need to know? Why is it important for us to know about mortgage? A lot of agents, one of the things they do when they talk to a lead, they do not ask enough questions and then send those leads over to their lender partners. Does your lender partner have systems? How many lender partners do you have? How is your lender partner's follow-up? Are they going to stay top of mind? Are they going to trust your leads are going to trust the lender partner that you have just by you sending them a quick email or text message with their phone number? Are they going to ghost your lender partners? What sort of relationships do you need to build prior to connecting them to a lender before you take that next step? Financing is important because you need to understand what the current market conditions look like. There's a lot of places right now in the US where market's still pretty hot, but there are a lot more places where the market is not. A lot of agents are being phased out because there is not enough business, but there's still a lot of agents getting more business. I was just talking to another agent the other day, and one of the things he mentioned was that he sees the market going up in the next 3 to 6 months because right now, all of his listings are getting over asking, are getting multiple offers. Buyers are getting used to the interest rates. What do we know about interest rates? Right? We know for a fact that interest rates change all the time, right? They change, they go up, they go down. But people do care about interest rates. Buyers do care about interest rate, but not just buyers, right? Sellers also care about interest rates. Why? Because if you're a seller, what is your next move after you sell? Are you trying to move up? Are you trying to move down? What are your payments going to look like once you get into a new loan? If you are like me, who got a home early on, I refied in early 2021, 2022, and I have a 3.25% interest rate, right? Why would I sell if I'm going to move into a 6, 7, 8% interest rate right now? And I say 6, 7, 8 because there's a lot of different programs out there that if you don't know them or are familiar with as an agent, again, you're missing out on business because what happens when you talk to someone who says, I'm waiting for the interest rates to go down? Do they know that you can bring down their interest rate with, you have on the mortgage side, you have 2-1 buy downs, you have 3-2-1 buy downs. Are you guys familiar enough with those to at least bring it up in a conversation so that you can build trust with that lead? I've talked to a lot of leads lately who, if I give too much information about, the interest rate being that high, and I price them out of the market before I even nurture that relationship, I get ghosted. But when I talk to the leads about the current situation and the possibilities with current interest rates and how to get a better interest rate, it tends to turn into a long-term transaction, right? We know transactions are going to happen in the next 3, 6, 12 months. So you want to continue to build those relationships. So the more you know about different financing options, the better, because that's what buyers care about, right? Sellers care about the long-term fixed interest rate. Interest rates are in the sevens, eights now. They're pretty high. A lot of buyers have been priced out of the market already. Buyers that were able to buy 2 years ago, they can't anymore. But there are a lot of buyers, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of buyers that are getting used to the sevens. They're getting used to the high sixes, the high sevens right now. So how do you get that audience, right? How do you get those leads that are willing to transact at a higher interest rate? What are you talking to them about when it comes down to financing? What do you know, right? Again, a lot of agents just pass on the leads over to the lender because they feel that they're not going to be ready, and they hope that their lenders are going to turn them into a unicorn, and then hopefully they end up transacting, right? So one of the things that we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks, we're actually going to bring in there's a company out there that will provide you with access to properties that offer assumable options. Do you guys know what that is? Basically, being able to assume someone's loan from 2, 3 years ago at 3.5%. Of course, there's ups and downs, right? The ups, you get a better interest rate. But even if you're familiar with that, it's an option for you to bring in and cast a net to get more leads into your pipeline, right? The details, of course, are the things that you're going to talk to them about once you get their contact information. An assumable loan, specifically on government type mortgages like FHA, VA, USDA loans, allows you to assume someone's mortgage at their interest rate. There is things you have to know about. For example, the person has to qualify. Like, for example, if we talk about FHA, they still have to qualify for an FHA loan for them to assume it. If the seller has equity, then the person assuming the loan is going to be responsible to come in with a much higher down payment. But if you have buyers who want and have the money for down payment for the extra equity, and you're able to connect them to a home or a seller who's offering assumable options, you can still get someone at 3.5% interest rate in today's market. You can still get someone at 2.5 interest rate in today's market. It's just about you knowing more about these options, which is going to allow you to cast a bigger net, which is going to allow you to get more leads, more conversations, which eventually turn into transactions. What is your responsibility as a real estate agent in terms of knowing about financing? You need to know enough, and you need to understand that every person's or every buyer's financing situation is different. If you only have one lender partner, is that lender partner going to give you all of the options available for the people that you get through your funnels? I can give you a quick example. Mortgage brokers have a lot of access to a lot of lenders. But sometimes direct lenders or even direct banks will work better in very specific situations. So are you diversifying your partnerships with lenders to ensuring you are getting a better chance at a buyer at getting a transaction closed by having multiple lenders, or are you just having one lender and hoping that that one lender is going to be able to qualify that person? Again, direct lenders, banks will have sometimes better options than even mortgage brokers with over 10, 20, even 100 lender partners. Because in some situations, depending on people's financing, uh, different lender products, different lending products will fit in different cases. So one of the things that we have to do as agents is we have to become more of an active participant in the transaction, right? If you want to stand out, you need to understand a little bit of financing. You don't need to be a mortgage lender. You don't need to be a mortgage loan officer. There's a few things you probably want to make sure you're not pushing. You don't have to collect a 1003. You don't have to collect all the documents, but you need to know enough, right? You need to be active within that partnership with your loan officer so that you know enough information. What questions are you asking? How much are you qualifying or pre-qualifying, right? I usually like to call it pseudo qualifying. So for example, when we bring in leads into our pipeline, we have an ISA who will gate and gauge interest on those leads because we're bringing in leads from different sources. One of them is Facebook, right? Everybody knows Facebook advertising works. However, there's usually a 1.5% conversion rate on those. So you really have to go through a bunch of leads, a lot of conversations to get the real higher quality, higher intent leads. So in order for you to do that, and if you don't want to waste all your time, you start delegating, right? So our VA, for example, or we call them ISAs, what they'll do is they'll ask a lot of questions, right? When was the last time you checked your credit score? Where do you think that credit score sits at? When was the last time what's your debt? What's your income? Are you W-2, 1099, right? Do you guys know the difference? Right? And how that affects a loan, right? A lot of 1099 employees will write off a lot of money. So even though their revenue looks huge, once you look at their taxes, they're priced out. They cannot qualify, right? So those little things, those little details are the things that you kind of need to understand and have conversations about, build those relationships. Our ISAs will continue to ask things about who else is jumping on the loan. Is there anybody else moving in with you? Anybody else who's going to be a non-occupant co-signer, right? All those things are very good pieces of information that you need to pass on to your lender. Build enough rapport, especially if you're bringing in new leads into your system, into your pipeline. Because if you haven't built enough rapport, what makes you think that the lender will do that and take care of those leads? You're basically spending money, getting leads and funnel them a different way. You are not going to get results. So if you know enough about the market, if you know enough about financing options, ask the right questions, you'll be able to tell if this person is ready to do something in the next few weeks or if this person is ready to do something in the next few months, right? And asking the right questions. We do have another training on how to ask the right questions. We'll go over that later. And how can you get and convert more top of funnel leads into actual conversations? So make sure you know enough about the different loan programs available. We talked about, you're able to bring down your rate, for example, with buying down points, assumptions, right? There are options for assumable loans. You have buy down options. There's 2-1 buy downs. There is 3-2-1 buy downs. In California, for example, we just had a program that got funded again, the California Dream Program. How much do you know about what's available as free money in your market? Are you getting familiar, talking to your lenders? Are you attending lender? A lot of lenders try to get your business, and the way they do that is through webinars, right? They want to know what products they have available. Are you attending these meetings virtually or in person? Are you meeting them in person to discuss options? What is the newest program out there? Down payment assistance. A lot of us don't want to deal with down payment assistance because some of people are not, most people that want down payment assistance usually don't or are not going to be ready in the next 6, 12, even, 24 months. We have a couple agents that have built their business on down payment assistance because they do have that patience to build relationships, and they're currently closing about 2-3 transactions a month because a lot of their business is coming from 12, 24 months ago, right? Learning how down payment assistance works and what down payment assistance money is available specifically to your audience. There's down payment assistance at the city level, at the county, at the state, and even nationwide. So how much of that stuff do you know in order to be able to support more of your audience. A lot of this information, guys, is not too complicated to just get from a quick conversation with your loan officer. And of course, social media today plays a huge part, right? Are you taking an active step in providing this information to your audience through video? Video marketing, it's a great way to put yourself out there, your face, your brand, the information. Think of your social media as a way to qualify people over time, right? When you're actively paying for leads, you bring in leads into your pipeline and you're going to qualify them right on the spot, and then hopefully nurture those relationships so that they can close and transact over the next 6, 12 plus months. When you're doing this organically through your social media sphere, like you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok now, and YouTube Shorts, you have Reels. What you're doing when you're putting a lot of this information in your accounts is you're providing information to people who may be interested in possibly buying. And what happens is, with as much information as you're providing, you're qualifying them over time, right? You're talking about interest rates and how that affects their payment. You're talking about all these different programs that are available. You're talking about down payment assistance. You're talking about how much money they need to come in with closing costs. You're talking about the market conditions. You're talking about the inspections. You're talking about the money that they're going to need to come in for appraisals, for inspections. And you're basically laying out the entire buying and selling process. So when you have an audience that starts consuming that content over time, they're going to understand what the process looks like. And once they're ready, they're going to reach out. And when they reach out, guess what? They're going to get closer to where they need to be to talk to your lender. They're going to get closer to be when you need to talk to them about a listing, right? A listing appointment, because you've already provided so much information. And even though you have not talked to them for 3 months, 6 months, when they're ready to talk to you, they're pretty much ready to go. So don't miss out on, one, getting information for yourself, understanding it so that you can talk to leads when you talk to them one-on-one, when you talk to them on the phone. And of course, get that information and put it out there, right? Take advantage of social media. It's a great way to get business right now. It's a great way of being omnipresent. Sometimes we gauge those results with, oh, I'm not getting enough views, I'm not getting enough likes, I'm not getting enough comments. All those come over time. What you have to do right now is just be consistent. And in terms of financing, if you know enough, you can bring in, and if you want more specific stuff, you can bring in people into your social sphere. And interviews work great, right? Like kind of like what we're going to do ourselves right now. I laid down a bit of information on financing and what we need to do, but next week we're going to bring a mortgage broker, and he's going to be able to answer more specific questions about exactly what agents need to do with their lender partners to get more business. And we haven't talked about everything that we wanted to talk about today in terms of financing and mortgage partners. But one of the things that we can end this with is that real estate agents need to start taking a more active role in the transaction when it comes to financing options. So you should learn a little bit more about the lending process. You do not have to be a loan officer. And of course, you want to be compliant. You need to learn more about what's available in your local area. You need to know your market like the back of your hand. And of course, you need to have multiple lender partners in order to be able to assist your clients better, right? So that covers it for today's training. Next week, we will bring a mortgage broker, and he will answer more questions about specific financing options. He is in California. He is licensed nationwide, though. So he'll be able to talk a little bit more about what's available and what are the things that you can say so that you don't get in trouble, right? Of course, you always want to consult with your local association if you're part of one, or you want to just go into the DRE hotline. Make sure you're contacting, make sure you're compliant, and get that business. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here still. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. And the following week after that, or maybe the following week, we will have an option available for you guys to be able to offer assumable loans. right? In the sense of you're going to be able to get access to properties, sellers that are willing to offer the option of having someone assume their loan. There's a specific platform. We're going to bring someone, interview a couple of the people that are running that business or that setup or that platform, that application, and we're going to cover all those things. So stay tuned. If you're not yet on our email list, feel free to send us a quick email to support@housester.com. We'll be more than happy to add you there. And all these meetings get recorded. We add them to our YouTube channel. You can look them up on Real Closers or our Houster YouTube channel. We do exactly what we tell you guys to do. We want you guys to be more available on your social media, more ready and provide information. We do the same. We post all of our content. This training, for example, it was about 20 minutes. This training is going to get chopped up and added to all of our social media platforms as reels, right? This content is going to go into multiple YouTube channels. Are we getting hundreds of thousands of views? Probably not, and probably not yet. But the compound effect that we're having is our name keeps popping up, right? And that's kind of what we want. We do have a community, a Facebook group, Real Closers, with over 68,000 members. And off of that community, what we've done is we created a smaller, tighter community right now, Real Closers, within a circle platform. If you guys want access to that, it's join.realclosers.com. Within that platform, you do get access to additional content for free, so you guys can post on your social media. You also get access to a weekly meeting that we have right now on Wednesdays at 9 a.m., which is role plays and scripts. For those who are new in the business, you can go in there and practice with us. And within that community, we are building a few courses right now to show you how you can get more listings, give you access to listing presentations, go over those listing presentations, and show you exactly what to say during those listing presentations so that you can get more contracts signed. And of course, if you don't get that contract, what's the follow-up look like that you have to work with in order to get, access to different tools and different things that are going to allow you to get more results. Not every listing appointment you're going to go to is going to close or is going to be a signed contract. But of course, the more listing appointments you go to, the more chances at more business. So if you guys are interested, go to join.realclosers.com, and we'll see you again next Thursday. And maybe I'll see some of you guys on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Are there any questions about any of this stuff? Again, we have someone coming on board on an interview next week. If you guys want to save your questions for Mortgage Broker, we'll be here next week. Hi, Maria. I think I saw you unmute yourself. No, okay, that was an accident. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. If there are any, I see a comment, question. Hi, yeah. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll see you again next Thursday with more content. And hopefully you guys are getting value from this. And if it is, wherever you're watching this, drop a 1 in our comments. It helps us spread the word. And we'll see you again next week. All right, thank you. Bye, Simara. Bye, Maria. Bye, Ken.